Hello, everyone. This is Daniel, and I'm going to be showing you. I'm going to be sharing to you what really goes into play with God. I mean, we all have a year. We all have breathing cycles. So breathing is harmony. That's one of them. That the reason why we're staying alive. But there's so many things that keep us alive. So there's breathing. There's eating. There's drinking water at certain times. You know, there's sleeping. There's staying awake. Everything is done in harmony. Now you're wondering, okay, is this even biblical? Well, the Bible does specifically say to keep things in harmony. It really does. It may not seem like it is because you're not reading that part, but it actually is it's absolutely saying to keep things in harmony. Absolutely. Because people these days, they don't think that we should keep the things in harmony, yet they don't see it that's in the Bible. But the Bible does specifically say to keep things in harmony. Harmony means it's kind of like a rhythm of things. It's basically doing things in a certain pattern. Harmony. Like you know, you have to do your job in harmony. And if that's messed up, then your days get a little messed up. I mean, farmers always had harmony, and we have to have harmony with one another, which means, there's another type of harmony, but basically, we have to have harmony with one another, which means, basically, in the church, that means keep agreeing with each other, and also have times to talk to each other. That's what it means. And I'm going to look it up. I'm going to have, just going to look harmony up. So, harmony, the combination of simultaneously sounded music notes to produce chords in a chord, progresses having a pleasant effect. Okay. Or two, an arrangement of four gospels or any parallel narratives, which presents a single continuous narrative text. All right. So, quality of forming and pleasing constant whole, and agreement of concord, and arrangement of four gospel. Basically something like that. Greek harmos joint concord, late Middle English harmony. So really, you should probably know what this means. This means we should really join, and then joining. And really, why should we be? Joint means like being with Christian. That's basically what it means. But basically, joining Concord. Concord. Joining Concord. So let's look up Concord. Just to be seeing what that means. And Concord is just a good thing. So concord. Agreement or harmony between people or groups. That's formal. Grammar, agreement between words in gender, number, case, person, or any other grammatical category which affects the forms of words. So basically, we have to be in agreement with each other, and that's basically what I'm talking about. And also, there's also another type of harmony that we must live by. The Bible specifically talks about being in agreement with others, but also talks about, we have to live by 3 meals, and that's been invented by God so we could actually live. Some people can actually change the meals and kind of suit it for them so that they're not hungry nor full. They're only hungry in the morning, and they're never full at night, and they're never hungry at night. Some people can really do that, and those are actually the people that are living under the blue category. Maybe they're over 100 years old, and they're literally these people that drink wine because wine is a preservative, and they eat very little amount every day for every meal, which is, there's a lot of meals, but there's a little amount for every meal. They actually snack all day long, which is a funny thing, But they do it harmonious. They have very small meals, and they have a lot of gatherings. Now it's funny because why are they doing things in real harmony? Because they have a little bit of wine every time, and the wine just settles down, and they have it 3 times a day. But the meals are very small. It's like snacking. And they literally are the happiest people. And they live in harmony with each other. And another thing is, these people, they're pretty darn old when they get to a certain age. And they have a lot of family members. They have, let's say, like 200 calories each. It's very little. And then they also have, let's say, 8 meals a day. That's 1,600 calories. Then the final, I would say, another day they have 9 meals. They have 9 meals actually on that day. That's 1,800 calories. And their main intake is cheese, vegetables, fruit, and a little bit of meat, which is mainly like fish and chicken, and that's it. Not much, beef or pork, and they eat lean meat, and they eat cheese like brie and Swiss, the lean cheeses, and they eat fruits like grapes. Not much watermelon because they think it's like too sweet or too heavy. They eat fruit like grapes, like sometimes like pineapple, and they even eat a little bit of coconut here and there. And they have olives, lots of olives. And the vegetables are like broccoli, spinach, asparagus, all that kind of vegetable. That they have a lot of vegetables. And they have time of vegetable, which is one time, and another time of meat, which is fish and chicken and turkey. You know, yeah, they don't do it every hour. They do it every time they have a gathering, which is And it's not a cult. It's more like a gathering type of thing, and they eat when they're gathering. And most of the calorie intake is from wine and from fruit. The meat, I would say, is like 40% of the calorie intake, and then another 35% of the calorie intake is the wine, and the fruit is almost the rest of it. And vegetables are not that bad. They have a lot of nutrients coming from wine, fruits, and vegetables, and the meat gives them protein and fat, and so does cheese. And that really is a pretty interesting way to live, isn't it? Too bad there aren't too many of those, but there's also the fact that a lot of Americans, except for that one part of America, there's a lot of Americans that don't live in harmony with their bodies. And those Americans, like possibly me, they keep saying, "Oh, we keep taking pills whenever we want to," or we eat in weird clumps of time. And let's say we have 3,000 calories one day, and then we have 1,000 calories the other day, and then another day we have 4,000, and then another day we have 500 calories. That's not even. That's not living with harmony with your own body. And the reason for that obesity is, and thyroid problems for almost all of America is not living with harmony with the body. And there's really diabetes epidemic in America because of this. And in Mexico, it's even worse because their main source of food is rice, beans, and meat. They eat a lot of chicken, but they eat in such weird quantities because they're under so much stress. There's a lot of crime. They don't know when they're going to eat. And then they eat a huge bulk when they can, but they're just in such a stressful situation that they're getting overweight and obese. Sometimes they eat, like, they even feast on certain days. They even feast on the days they can because they don't know how their days are going to be the next day, because it's not like there's a whole bunch of gangs down there. It's not that bad, but sometimes they just can't afford their meals. But when they can, they eat a good amount of beans, rice, beef, pork, chicken, fish. Like they have their own vegetables and peanuts and all that. You know, it's really payday load of meal, and that's pretty intense. That's pretty interesting to know, because whenever they get the payday, they feed themselves greatly, but when they don't know when the next meal is going to be. So that's a problem. In America, we don't have that excuse. In America, we eat artificial food, so that makes us go out of harmony with the food, and then even worse, some people don't have time to take their pills, so then they get way out of whack from. Dang. Hold on, okay. Thank you. Case on point. I should have taken it at like 5, but now I took it at 9. Case on point. So we have work to do. We don't have time to take our pills at work. And then we have problems in the morning. We have problems in the afternoon. We have nighttime jobs in America. That's the worst thing. We should be responsible for that because even Mexico, which is tiny bit fatter, even more fat than us, some people are, but a lot of people are even more fat in America than Mexico. It's just we don't have an excuse. Mexico does because in Mexico they have paycheck problems, and they also have problems in some areas with gangs. Not in all of them, but in some of them. They just don't know when they're going to get their next meal. Some of them are farmers. Some of them go on farmer markets, and then they get their really excessive meal. It's because of poverty. In America, we're not really impoverished. We're just stealing food from the poor and then bringing it to the rich. You know, the poor people. I don't know what's going on in America for poor people, but I think the reason why we're so impoverished in America is because of our pill system. It's would you rather take your pills or die of hunger? No, I mean, would you rather take your pills or go on food stamps and barely live for the next day? So pills, well, it seems like pills are not a big deal. For some people, it's life threatening to be without pills. So you would die without pills, but your life would be uncertain without food. So 1 in 6 children in America, because of the greed system in America, since we're so rich, since America's so greedy, 1 in 6 children are starving. Yet, 4 out of 6 children are living the life really fatly. Like they're really fat children in America. Like 4 out of 6 children are really fat. So, okay. So what do we do? Since we have no excuse for this, why don't we go in harmony with each other, in agreement, and with harmony with our bodies? The Old Testament always lived in harmony with their bodies, and the New Testament always lived in harmony with their bodies as well, and with each other. And obviously, some people know how to do it better than others. Like let's say people in Japan, they have breakfast in schools and lunch in schools, and they have long schools. And even better is these people in Japan. Some of them are fishers. Some of them are like entertainment show people. There's a lot of people in Japan that have jobs, and their payment is equal, and I like that. And fortunately, some people cannot agree with that kind of awesome thing. In Japan, everyone gets the equal pay. Not completely equal, but almost completely equal. Like it's like $20,000 off per year. That's their pay. A lot of people are, let's say, not rich, but not poor. But the awesome thing is, because of that, because the medication system is not overrun by corruption, since they don't have much medication system, since they don't have that many meds there. Another awesome thing is then the reason why they're so thin is because they have such a harmonious way of living. Agreeing with each other is okay, but their harmonious way of living is having 3 meals a day and always at the same exact time, no matter if it's in the middle of the job or whatever it is. restaurants open at a certain time, and restaurants for let's say the other people of the world, let's say they're tourists. Restaurants for tourists are open at I don't know, long enough amount of time so that they open like from one to they open like from 2 to 8, and the regular restaurants open from 3 to 7. But everyone else eats at home at exactly at their time from 5 to 6, and at school 12 to 1, and at breakfast 7 to 8, or even better, maybe even 6:30 to 7, 6:30 to 7. So that, my friends, is a very harmonious way of living. If they're ever prescribed, they're literally, honoring their own body and honoring their own deity to say, okay, I'm going to honor myself by taking pills a straight amount of time in perfect harmonious way of living. And that might sound Hinduism. They might sound Shintoism or Hinduism in a certain way, but really, guys, this is the reason why Americans fail a lot. If we don't really live with harmony with our bodies, we die a lot. This is why America is the number one state of heart attacks and cancer. 1 in 2 people die of a heart attack and cancer. Everything else is that one person. 50% is everything else. Those 2 people, they're either going to die from something else or from cancer. So, heart attack or cancer, which one do you want? They both sound horrible. In other deaths, they don't sound peaceful either. And it's sad because America has to be rich, but they're also fat people. So it seems like certain rich countries are very fat. And oddly enough, America is the fattest rich country that there ever is. There seems to be very thin people in America. Some emaciated, some nice, beautiful bodies. A lot of people who are thin in such interesting ways. There's no average body in America. There's either really thin, or there's overweight, or there's completely obese in America. There's no middle ground. In Africa, there's complete middle ground. There's either thin, like emaciated thin, in many countries of Africa, or there's average, or there's overweight, or there's obese. In America, there's only thin or obese. That's all you have in America. Japan, there's either regular or just underweight. And for those special classes, they're just obese with muscle. They have special bodies for sport. And that's rare to find. In China, it's the same way. It's a little different. India, you have a lot of thin people. You rarely have fat people in India. Some are fat, some are thin. But you rarely see really fat people in India. That's parts of the Middle East. Let's go for the rich ones. There's a lot of nice. There's a lot of nice people. There's a lot of nice people. There's a lot of nice looking people there. There's a lot of nice looking people in the Middle East, in rich countries. Very nice looking. Some are fat, but many are nice looking and average bodied. In parts of Europe, there's also the fact that some people are fat, some people are thin. In Italy, there are many fat people, obese, and there's also many thin people, just like America. But there's also middle ground in Italy because they exercise a lot. In England, there's also fat people and regular people and thin people. And let me tell you, I know what's going on in United Kingdom because I would say that 70% or a little less is overweight in England. It's a cheese epidemic, I know. And those people are either obese, overweight, or emaciated. And then in other European countries, it's basically the same. In France, there's very nice looking people there, but there's also overweight people there too. I mean, there's overweight people everywhere, even in Japan, like I said. But the sad part is, in America, we people in America are not living in harmony in any shape or form. We're not living in harmony. And that is literally how you live. And harmony is literally your life supply. It's literally your only life supply that you must live with. I mean, work can cause a lot of problems too. Work can cause real problems with a lot of people, especially disabled people. Seems like work is worse for disabled people than regular people or people without disability. But still, you can't win every time. I think the reason why people are, let's say, 700 pounds, some people, well, let's say someone is weighs 700 pounds, it's because the thyroid doesn't work at all. And literally, he's not in harmony at all. Another reason why someone weighs 600 pounds is because they eat too much. And they can handle eating too much. But they could die one day. Now, when your thyroid doesn't work at all, it's you could die from obesity, or you could shut down and die. That's not good. A lot of people are dying from thyroid problems in America. But also, even more people are dying from heroin overdoses in America. Why is that? Pain. Why do people get in pain? It's physical. Why is it physical? Of course, the reason is because they're not living in harmony. Another reason is because they get into accidents. And there's so many impatient people around here. So they, get so impatient that they get these pills that have that have opioids in them. And these opium pills are giving people a headway into heroin because they want to feel that numbness again because they're addicted to it. And then they get out of whack. They get out of harmony with themselves with this opium, and they want more and more and more, and it increases. Then they die from it. So, harmonious people, tell us Americans that we must help each other find a cure for a harmony problem, because America has a huge harmony problem. Matter of fact, I don't think I found a problem. I don't think I found anything that's not a problem in America. America is the center spot for absolute sin. And I hear that New England is a warring spot for evil spirits and good angels. Because there's holy things happening in Massachusetts. And demons are trying to take over Massachusetts. And even better, demons want to take control of New England because it's the holy spot of America. California is the complete opposite. The demons have completely taken over California, and even Oregon and Washington State. Texas is not as good. Yet, the older the state, the more holy it is. Hawaii is bad. Alaska is really bad. Even more interesting, I'd say that Oregon is the worst state for belief, because they believe in voodooism and Satanism. Complete satanic place is Oregon. And they're so... These people are not living in harmony with each other. These people are not living in harmony with either. These people are not living in harmony with... These people are not living in harmony with each other at all. They really are not. You know? They can't live in harmony unless they have Jesus. That's interesting, isn't it? So remember, once you have no harmony with each other, you really can't. I mean, you really can't just live your way with Jesus, because, non-harmonious way of living is a sign that you're not really with Jesus. There's really signs that you're not really living with Jesus. Not unless you're addicted and your thyroid's not working very well. But that means you're not having a harmonious way of living, unless it's the way you've lived in the past. It's not harmonious. Like Satanists are living a non-harmonious way of living, and most of them are really fat. Some of them are emaciated or really thin. That's a lot of problems. Michigan is a center spot for sin. Oregon is a center spot for Satan. And of course, New England is a center spot for promise. It is the most holy spot in America, New England. We've got to live in harmony, that's all. That's all we've got to do, okay? Alright, I'll be done now, okay? Bye.